Hello everyone, exciting news from Z-Man Games and the Pandemic series today. There is a brand new game in the Pandemic Hot Zone game. The first one was North America, and now we're going to be getting Hot Zone Europe. So these are smaller versions of Pandemic, but this one has some extra stuff to it. So not only are we getting Hot Zone Europe, there's a special mode called Hemispheres that's going to allow you to play with Europe and North America at the same time, and you can even get the game for free. So let's go through the key information that we instantly know about Hot Zone Europe. It's going to be a shorter, more portable version of the best-selling cooperative game Pandemic. It's the second title in the Hot Zone series with a unique Europe board. Players work together to discover the cure of 3 diseases, winning or losing as a team. It's exactly the same as North America there. There are going to be mutation cards to add increased difficulty. The components can be mixed and matched with the other Hot Zone games, so that's that Hemisphere game mode. And it will support 2 to 4 players with games lasting approximately 30 minutes. Now that last bit's quite interesting. I think they said 30 minutes for North America as well. I found that closer to be more like 15-20, but you know, mileage will vary. So effectively Europe is the new version like North America. There doesn't seem to be too many differences. There's got the characters, maybe they're a little bit tweaked, as well as the mutations that add the difficulty. They were probably the better feature of North America. Now let's get into how you can get it for free before we go on to the new game mode. It's going to be free as a PDF download, and I'll put the link in the description box below. It's going to release on July 9th. Of course, you know, that's what they're slating it for at the moment. With delays, there's a lot of board game companies doing delays right now for shipping problems, but July 9th is when the game is slated to release. But you can get it free as a PDF to download, print and play pretty much straight away from the Z-Man Games website. It's a lot of pages, there's a lot of cards, card backs and the board and everything to print, you know, so it's not going to be for everyone, but you do have that option if you want to give it a go, or you want to jump in and play that Hemispheres mode straight away. Now let's have a look at this new game mode. I think this is probably what excites me most about this announcement, because Pandemic North America was good for me. It wasn't great. Let's see if, you know, maybe this Hemispheres mode would actually mean it's worth owning both. Maybe, maybe not for you, but let's find out. So the overview of the Hemisphere mode. 2 players combine 2 sets of Pandemic Hot Zone. Now the wording there is really interesting because it pretty much says there's going to be more versions of Hot Zone, you know, maybe Australia or, you know, Africa, or, you know, maybe just go for continents or whatever. So that's a really interesting, maybe extra bit of information, but 2 players using 2 different sets. Each player manages a disease fighting team and travels across both game boards to assist treating diseases and discovering cures. To win, players must cure all 3 diseases on both boards before losing on either board. Now the way it's roughly working, just to give you a breakdown, like with the setup, you will control a team of 3 characters. You'll both have a starting hemisphere, so one will be playing sort of the team from Europe and the other one the team from North America. You'll kind of be playing separately, but there will be a way to exchange cards because the central draw deck is going to be combined. But the infection decks are remaining split, and whenever it's your turn, you're drawing infection cards from your deck rather than what map your main character's on, and you sort of go between the characters as you do turns. Now an interesting one is you can, despite you kind of doing your board, you know, if you're the Europe player, you're doing the Europe board at the start via the chartered flight actions or any of the special action cards. You can fly across to the other hemisphere, the other board. Don't know why it's hemispheres, but you know, you can fly across to the other board and help out there, you know, if something's really going wrong. So I really like the idea of that. From the setup picture, you know, you're combining the all of the cubes, that all of the disease cubes. So if one board's really suffering on the blue virus, the other person, the other board, is really going to have to make sure that they're clearing blue to make sure that that blue disease cube doesn't run out for the whole, for both sides of for both boards. So that's a really nice touch. It'll be very interesting. There's a few roles that they've called out. So for instance, the researcher in North America cannot be used when playing this Hemispheres mode. There's a couple of sort of tweaks and stuff like that from other, like the airlift action in North America can move a pawn from one board to the other. There's a few fine points like that, but very interesting. They basically said researcher can't be used when playing this mode. I think the researchers basically, it's a different way of passing cards between players. Now, why that's important is because there is like a central area where cards can be added into, and as for an action you can take out and put in. So very interesting as a game mode. It'll be great to know what your thoughts are. Are you going to be getting this one? Do you have North America? And is this Hemispheres mode enough to make it interesting for you? It certainly interests me. Whether it interests me enough to have both in my collection, I don't even have North America anymore because it wasn't enough on its own, and maybe this was what was missing. But exciting for a new game in the Pandemic series. Make sure to check out other news and stuff on the channel. We had some from Renegade Game Studios yesterday about their new Crimes and Capers series, so check that out, as well as loads of reviews and news and stuff. So stay subscribed for that. And I'm Oliver East, signing out.